We finally have an official opening date for Epic Universe, but already we are hearing about expansion plans. Hello everybody, welcome. Today we are going to talk about all of the new details we've learned and soft launches and previews. So not only are you prepared for opening day, but also Epic Universe and beyond. As we know, opening day for Epic Universe has been formally announced. It is May 22nd of 2025, and ticket packages are currently on sale even still for opening day. So if you think you missed out on opening day for Epic Universe, you are in luck. There are still ticket packages available. However, Epic Universe hotels are currently sold out for opening day and opening weekend. This includes Helios Grand and Stella Nova and Terra Luna hotels, completely sold out for that weekend. However, other hotels such as the Royal Pacifico and the Portofino Bay, as well as the Hard Rock hotels, are still available. And why that's important is because you definitely want to get a hotel stay for your opening weekend tickets. And the reason for this is that Universal has confirmed that early access into the parks will be available even on opening day. So if you have a hotel reservation for Universal or Epic Universe hotels, you will get early access into the park even on opening day. So go out there and book yourself a hotel so that you get in there before anybody else. I do want to also mention that pass holder tickets, the special single day pass holder tickets, which have been available, early access availability to pass holders, are also still available. However, they are completely sold out for the first few weeks of Epic Universe opening. Now, we do know that those tickets are going to continue to be available throughout the life of Epic Universe. There's no panic, no need to run out there and get those single day tickets as a pass holder. They're not going to go away. We just got early access to them. Single day tickets for non-pass holders are going to be made available very shortly though, so you're going to want to, as a pass holder, go out there and get your tickets now before they become available for non-pass holders, because they're going to start to disappear even more and more. So let's get into some of the new stuff. Let's start out with the previews. We know that the friends and family soft previews, getting into access the park prior to it completely opening up, will happen earlier than opening day. Right now we are hearing March could tentatively be the month where team members of Universal will get access into those parks. Following the friends and family, we will then move into annual pass holder previews. So we're expecting that sometime in April. And then following that will be the special media VIP access, and that will be sometime in early May, maybe late April. Now our expectations are that there will be soft openings, and those soft openings will continue all the way from the annual pass holder previews all the way through to opening day, probably up until the day before opening day. Those sort of soft openings allowing people to come into the park will be available. Now what everybody's asking though is, will the pass holder previews, will they be free or will you have to pay for them? Typically, pass holder previews are completely free. You don't have to pay for them as long as you have access into places like Universal or Islands of Adventure. If there's a pass holder preview for an attraction or whatnot, you get special access into that. It's a little bit different with a completely new park opening up, so we don't know for sure whether there will be some sort of charge or some sort of payment required in order to do these previews, but we are crossing our fingers and hoping that it will be free. If it is free, it will be extremely limited, meaning probably only one day of access for those annual pass holders. However, soft openings may be a different story. If they continue to have soft openings all throughout the months prior to the opening day, again, those may be free access, or they may be special ticketed events. We will have to wait and see. The next thing that everybody keeps asking about is, when are we going to get those coveted annual passes that include Epic Universe? Now, we don't have a formal date for that, but every indicator that we're seeing tells us that we're more than likely not going to get annual passes that include Epic Universe until 2026. All of the single day tickets and packages that are available right now only take us through the end And it makes sense because they're not going to want people to buy single day and multi-day tickets, especially annual pass holders. That's the key. All of the single day early access annual pass holder tickets right now only go through this year. And they definitely don't want annual pass holders buying single day tickets if they're going to be launching an annual pass version of that shortly after, because then people will be asking for a lot of refunds, trying to get money back when they do eventually upgrade to the Epic Universe Pass. However, all expectations are that you will be able to buy the Epic Universe annual pass before opening day. All the information on the website confirms this. We've talked about this in previous videos. You will be able to purchase your annual pass upgrade that includes Epic Universe before opening day happens. However, expectation is that it will not be eligible or won't be valid until 2026. Now let's talk about some of the new details that we've found and discovered about Dark Universe. And I want to start out with this really cool tidbit of information about it. As you know, when you enter through the Dark Universe portal and you enter into Darkmoor Village, there is this really cool well sort of in the center of the town. It's the very first thing that you come through. And we found out that apparently the village of Darkmoor is built on an entire ginormous colony of vampires. Now we knew that already because of the catacombs area of Dark Universe and the Das Steakhouse, where essentially the Das Steakhouse is basically vampire familiars. They're going to be serving you the food, and they're basically the caretakers of the vampires that live in the catacombs beneath the Das Steakhouse. So we've known that there is an underground area, but we didn't know that the entire underground of Darkmoor Village is a vampire colony. And apparently that really cool well right there in the center of the town that has all that mist and fog and red lighting and everything is essentially a feeding well for the vampires. It's how they get the food, the blood, down through into the well, down into the vampire colony. So I just think that's a really cool piece of lore in the way they've set that up. I really think it's neat. But we also have confirmation that the mole people will be part of Dark Universe. If you're not familiar with the Mole People, it is a 1956 Universal classic monster flick called The Mole People. And apparently in Darkmoor Village, right on the outskirts of the village, there is a cage with this decaying creature in it, which apparently is one of the fabled Mole People. So we know there are so many Universal classic monsters to be confirmed in this land, and that's just one more that we've just added to the list. And I just think that's really cool because there's probably even more coming that we're not even aware of. We also have an update on the Burning Blade Tavern and the windmill that sets fire, and a little bit about the storyline there, which I think is really cool. And what I love about the way that they've designed Dark Universe is you sort of weave your way through the portal into Darkmoor Village. You see the well, which is sort of that first iconic little imagery there. You've got that story around that with the vampires living below it. Then you come across Frankenstein's Manor, which is going to be this beautiful, amazing, breathtaking view. And then as you weave your way past the manor, sort of that third big piece that you're going to see is that Burning Blade Tavern windmill that catches fire. I just think they've really done a smart thing by adding a lot of like iconic, almost like pit stops along this journey as you go through Darkmoor Village and you go through the Dark Universe area. Apparently multiple times per hour you will hear a bell start to ring in the town, which signals that the windmill is about to burst into flames. And this will start a 1.5 minute pre-show of sorts that will eventually culminate with the Burning Blade Tavern windmill catching on fire and burning for at least a minute from what we understand. This is not going to be a quick dragon's breath like you see above Gringotts there. It is going to be a minute-long spinning, burning windmill. Now we know that they are using two different types of fuel ratios for this windmill, one for daytime and one for nighttime, that makes sure that you are able to see that burning sort of windmill, whether it's during the day or whether it's at night. So I just think this is an amazing add to this land. You really can't discount the fact that they really had to think about this wood. Like, what is this wood gonna look like? What's it gonna look like when it's burning and on fire? It has to look like charred, burnt wood around this windmill. It also has to spin and it has to catch fire and stay on fire for a minute, which I just think is like, I just think it's amazing how they've sort of put this thing together, and I cannot wait to see it. Now let's talk about Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment. As you know, the story here is Dr. Victoria Frankenstein, a new character and granddaughter of the original Dr. Frankenstein, has essentially decided that she thinks that she can control the monsters. I think she's trying to do good. She may not be trying to do good the good way, but she's trying to do something where she can control the monsters and perhaps make them part of the normal society instead of having to be feared. And from what we understand, the beginning of this ride is going to be her talking about how she can control Dracula, and you see this really cool like portal energy sort of circle, and we're guessing that this device is designed to sort of hold and control Dracula. So he's in the center of this portal, this like electric device, and it's really cool because if you look closely in the latest video where they were interviewing some of the designers and creators of Epic Universe, you can see this portal or this sort of electric device with Dracula in the center of it right behind the person that they're interviewing there. And I just think that's really cool because it very matches up with the concept art. You sort of see that overlap of like what's in the background there, and then you look at the concept art, and apparently this is sort of going to be like the beginnings and the kickoff of this particular ride. Now, spoiler alert, all heck breaks loose because she clearly cannot control Dracula, and everything is going to go off the rails real quick. So cannot be more excited for this ride. It's probably going to be the first thing that I head for on opening day. Now let's talk about the new animatronics. Have you seen these things? We've got 15 animatronics in this attraction, 14 of which are going to be in the actual ride itself. You've got one ginormous 9-foot tall Frankenstein's monster that's going to be part of the pre-show and the queue. It's going to be walking apparently. I don't know how they're going to do that, but it sounds awesome. And I just think the detail on these monsters is absolutely ridiculous. The movement, how fast they move. And I remember the original sort of Dark Universe announcement where it had this werewolf sort of swiping, and everybody was talking about, is that an animatronic or is it CGI? And from the very beginning, I've been saying that is an animatronic, and it looks amazing. There's a lot of other people saying, no, you're wrong. That's definitely not an animatronic. We're now seeing the real animatronic up close and personal and doing the same motions that that animatronic was doing in that original video. So it looks to me like we've pretty much confirmed that we were right when we said that wasn't cool, that was an actual animatronic, because these things look so amazing. The detail and the speed at which they move. I mean, you can see them like the claws coming out, just all this motion and movement. It just looks amazing. Now, in Universal's official video, we got to look at 4 of these creatures in detail. We saw Frankenstein's monster, Wolfman, Dracula, and the awesome creature from the Black Lagoon, which we will talk about a little bit later, but that monster looks spectacular. Now, we also know we will see Dr. Victoria Frankenstein. We will see other creatures like the Mummy and Phantom of the Opera, the Invisible Man, Igor, and the Brides of Dracula also in this attraction. So a lot of different characters and potentially some more. Now, this brings us to the expansion plans that I want to talk about, because that creature from the Black Lagoon animatronic is out of this world. I think it looks absolutely amazing. I don't have any idea whether or not it can be submerged in water. Probably not, but it looks unreal to me. So with this latest update of all these animatronics and this absolutely impressive creature from the Black Lagoon, all this sort of discussion and talk is already starting to swirl again about the canceled Creature from the Black Lagoon boat ride that was supposed to be originally part of the Dark Universe. This has sort of brought it back to the forefront. We're now talking again about how the fact that this Creature from the Black Lagoon water ride may not in fact be canceled, but it just was put on hold and paused until we get a part 2 of Dark Universe. And it would totally make sense because we don't really have a lot of water/boat rides. Think about things like Pirates of the Caribbean, or your Splash Mountain, or even your Jurassic Park river adventure. We don't have a lot of those water rides. And one of the things that Universal continues to need more of is family-friendly rides that pretty much anybody can get into and enjoy the attraction. We're getting a lot of roller coasters. We're getting a lot of kids-friendly areas, which is great, but we still need more, and we don't have a lot of water rides or water attractions. So this seems like this is going to be one at the top of the list. And Creature from the Black Lagoon, while not one of the major characters in the classic universe, you've got a lot bigger characters. He's probably in the top 6, not really the top 5. You got like the Mummy and Frankenstein's monster. You got these big characters like Dracula and Wolfman, but he's probably around 6. He's got a very iconic like cult following behind Creature from the Black Lagoon, and that animatronic that they showed is just unbelievable. So I really don't think that they would have spent so much time developing this Creature from the Black Lagoon. And we continue to see Creature from the Black Lagoon merchandise, Creature from the Black Lagoon sort of little Easter eggs in some of the tribute stores. We keep seeing a lot of those things coming out from Universal. So it seems more and more likely like we're gonna get a Creature from the Black Lagoon water ride there as part of the Phase 2 expansion for Dark Universe. And what I'm talking about with regards to that expansion, I'll show a little map here which really shows between the Dark Universe area and the Super Nintendo world, there's this pad here that's reserved for expansions. Now this could be used for Super Nintendo world expansions, but also the Dark Universe, and this is specifically where on the original sort of maps and things that people were carving out and speculating where that Creature from the Black Lagoon water ride was supposed to be. So it is very possible that we're going to be getting that as part of the Phase 2 expansion. So there you have it. Those are all the big major updates that we've got for you today. There's some other things that I've got on my horizon, but I'm not quite ready to throw them out into the world just yet. But I'm curious as to what you're thinking. Are we on the money? Is there anything that you want to talk to us about? Let us know in the comments. Anything we've missed or you want us to talk about in our next video, I will definitely do that. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. Don't forget, comment below. I want to hear from you. We've been speculating and predicting so many things since Epic Universe was first mentioned, and we've been on the money on so many of these things. Do not throw this thing away with a grain of salt. I'm telling you, be ready. All these things are happening. Let me know what you think. And again, thank you for watching. And until I see you next time, the noble way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.